Is this the best law enforcement agency in America? I think I found it.
Welcome to Courageous Leadership with Travis Yates, where leaders find the insights, advice, and encouragement they need to lead courageously.
I know saying anything is the best in America is a bold statement. Here's my thoughts while I was at the agency.
Day 4 of 5 days in an incredible environment here in Pinal County, Arizona, teaching courageous leadership. You know, I never take it for granted when an agency brings me in, because whether you know it or not, they were empowering me and giving up some of their authority to rely on me to provide leadership, when obviously that organization is doing it as well. And there's always a little bit of risk to let someone else do that. And that is what empowerment is, of course, is risk. But let me tell you something, Sheriff Mark Lamb and Chief Deputy Matt Thomas what an incredible organization. This has given me so much hope. You know, when you do what I do every day and you hear the stories and you see the failures, it gets very discouraging. And I recognized on day 1 I was in a different place, folks. It's hard to describe what courage and leadership in an organization does for that organization. I wanted to just give you a brief thought that I thought of this week that we've been talking about. But if I was to barrel it down into one thing I want everyone to grasp, and we spend 8 hours trying to nail it and trying to get them to grasp it, it's this: leadership, courageous leadership. Stepping outside of the norm, that status quo. Leadership is not about you. It's not about your resume. It's not about your dreams. It's not about your goals. It's about those around you. It's about the dreams of those around you. It's about the goals of those around you. It's about the achievements that those around you want to make, and you enable that to occur. Man, if we grasp that, if we grab that, if we use that, every agency in this country would be like this agency. I'm seeing it live and in person. You don't have to believe me. I know many of you go, well, it's a lost cause, folks. This profession is not a lost cause. I'm watching it live in person, and I'm absorbing it. Folks, I'm learning more than they are. It's incredible, and I'm excited, and it gives me hope. And I want you to be excited.
So I've been teaching courageous leadership for almost a decade. And until about 2 years ago, in class, we would sort of just take a survey. We'd go around the room and talk to everyone. And part of what I would ask them to do is to rate their agency on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to leadership. Now, folks, the numbers that I've gotten nationally were really subpar when I was doing that. But I also noticed something a few years ago, that I didn't think that everyone was being completely honest, because you got to think of the dynamics. If you're in class with your chief or your sheriff or your captain or your boss or your coworkers, that could obviously affect it. So a couple of years ago, I started doing this survey in class with a QR code, completely anonymous, where they complete it while they're in class. And the numbers nationally have once again stayed subpar. Nationally, we've been running about 60% plus below average. Folks, that's not good for our profession. And I showed up at Pinal County Sheriff's Department doing a series of leadership classes over the course of a week, different students each day. Got there on day 1, and I've been doing this long enough for many, many years to know when something feels a little off, and something felt off on that first day. I didn't know what it was, thought maybe it was me, who knows? But something was different. I didn't quite know what it was. Then I did the survey, and it came back on day 1, 100% above average. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I've never even seen anything at 50% above average when I go across the country. And so I knew right then and there I was in a special place. I'm here at the Pinal County Sheriff's Department, and I've mentioned previously at the incredible organizational culture and the leadership that I've observed here live, and it is certainly extremely encouraging. But they very graciously given me access to a different part of the building for their gym after hours, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm over here for the first time, and I noticed something. I want you to see if you notice the same thing. Let me turn this around and show you here. Check this out. These are photographs of their historic sheriffs. Check this out.
Check this out. This is one wall, okay? Here's another wall. Did you notice that? What'd you see? Or what did you not see? Their current sheriff, Mark Lamb's photograph isn't there. And maybe you ask yourself, well, why would that be? What's going on here? I honestly don't know. Maybe his picture is elsewhere. It likely is. Most sheriff's departments have their sheriff's name emblazoned everywhere and their photos are everywhere. But I don't think I've ever been to a police department that didn't have the current sheriff's photograph on the same wall as all the other ones. And you're gonna say, Travis, this isn't a big deal. What are you doing here? And I would tell you, it is a big deal. It's a big deal because no one else does this. It's a sign of what we always talk about, which is what? This isn't about me. It's not about me. It's about you. And if you've taken our seminars, we give you lots of examples of this, of how we can show that to others, to not only walk the talk, but show it on a daily basis. And whether it was done by design or not, it doesn't matter to me because that's what I noticed. And if I noticed it, the employees here noticed it. And if you think that's not a big deal, you don't understand what we're doing here at Courageous Leadership. We're not about what we've always done. We're not about what's normal. We're not about that every other department does it this way, so let's do it this way. For some reason, every wall I've ever seen has this, and it doesn't here. That makes this place, it's a symbol of what they're trying to stand for here, which I've heard all week from the employees, is they let me be me. They encourage me. They support me. What if we dropped our ego, dropped all our silly awards and plaques and names emblazoned everywhere, and just served others? You'd have a place like Pinal County Sheriff's Department. And I'm here to tell you right now, that's the place you want.
What am I talking about here? We're talking about organizational culture. And after day one, it set me on a journey just talking to as many of the deputies as I could. Why do you like it here? What's going on here? And let me tell you what I generally heard. It was all cultural from the top, from Sheriff Mark Lamb, Chief Deputy Matt Thomas, and many, many others. I kept hearing the same thing from different personnel. They support me. They let me do my job. They have my back. They care for me. And the interesting thing is when the top does that, everyone else in the middle and at the bottom does the same. If I could describe this in one word of what I experienced in this week in Arizona, was family. Obviously, no organization's perfect. That's not what we're striving to do here. But when it comes to culture, there's nothing more difficult to change than that, because it takes almost everyone buying into it. So there's a ton of respect for the top leadership there at Pinal County and what they've been able to achieve, what they've been able to accomplish. And I'm just amazed. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I had the opportunity, and it gives me tremendous hope for this fine profession.
That's the journey. And man, that's the only journey I want to be on. I hope at some point today, I've encouraged you to do the same. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. Thank you.
So day one, 100% of the attendees said their leadership was above average. Throughout the course of the week, with different attendees each day, 90% above average, 10% average. I've never seen anything like it. And if you're wondering where your agency is, you should know. This survey can work for you. I'll give it to you right now to use, and you need to know exactly where you stand. Just reach out to me and find out. And I wonder how many leaders would actually do this. How many would evaluate where you are on leadership as perceived by those you're leading? We need them to do that. We need you to do that. That's how we improve. And just remember, lead on and stay courageous.